right, guys, on the podcast today, we have Matt Ouverson of Wicked Pig and SEA champion, 2019 SEA points champion. Also has a rub out on the market that's won a couple of awards too. I think he took top 10 in the American Royal, if I remember correctly. Matt, how you doing today, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
Doing awesome. So you're an accomplished SEA cook, and you've won a lot of things. Kind of run down some of the accolades you've had in steak.
Oh boy, I've done over 200 SCA comps, so that's quite a bit in the SCA world. Like I've won, I think 8 contests, multiple. I can't count how many top 10s I've won. I won 2 steak qualifiers in 2019 also, which paid my way to the Worlds. So you get to use that for this year's World because it was canceled back in October. So.
And you guys did well in Worlds. You guys took first place. Is that right? Didn't you do that?
No, I got
year?
first. No, I missed the cut last year.
Oh, so. Yeah. Well, hoping to go down there too, but I don't know what I want to do. That scares me. World Foods. Is it like super intimidating? Do I need to worry about that? Is it?
Oh, World Food. Yes.
Yeah, World Food.
Yes, we did what we won World Food. Yes.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about World Steak.
I thought so too. I thought that as well, Rusty.
Oh, sorry. I've got World Foods on my mind. You know what? I think that's cool.
Like, what?
Well, they're both cool. Don't get me wrong. They're both awesome.
Yeah.
But World Foods, man, that place is a trip. That looks extremely intimidating.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I walked out to the elevator one day and everybody's wearing their knife bag on them, and I got my cart with a cooler and a grill on it, and we hauled it all the way down there, and just messing around. So
is that how? Let's talk about that for a second. Let's just talk about what it's like to compete in World Foods. Is it pretty intense? Is it like an Iron Chef kind of thing?
Yeah. So I mean, you can sit there and watch everybody cook and everything like that, and then when you get ready for your turn, I mean, it's go time. So I mean, it was fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun there, and I will go back.
And so you did barbecue before you did steak, right?
Yeah, I did barbecue for I think 13 years.
And do you do barbecue anymore, or are you just a steak guy now?
I do the American Royal. This year I'm going to Memphis in May with Team White Lightning. So I'm getting my hands in some whole hog. I did a whole hog down at Mark Lambert's place just like 2-3 months ago, and got reserve grand champion there in whole hog. So first whole hog I've ever cooked, but I had a good time, and I'm going to do more of that. I can tell you that. Look out for me for more whole hog.
Hey, what were you cooking that on, by the way?
I cooked that on a double Old Hickory CTO.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Hey, one day. Yep. Well, I can't do mine in my CTO. It's just a CTO.
Right.
I need a double wide.
Well, Rusty's been talking about doing a whole hog for a minute now, and I think he might be a little nervous. Obviously, he's never done it, so he should be. But I think it's a lot easier if you just take knowledge, like ask him a question on how do I protect my ribs, just ask questions is the best way to do it. Cause that's what I did. And I still kind of bombed it. It still came out good, but I still kind of bombed it a little bit.
Yeah. Pig is super intimidating. I don't care what you say, but so, and so you made that jump, you kind of went into SEA and you've had great success doing it. I mean, you said all those accolades, and I don't think what people understand is that hasn't been a very long time. So, talk about like, so when you do a steak, what drew you to the steak competitions?
I was a chef when I was 18 years old, and I cooked steak for a men's club on Tuesday night. And most of the time I probably cooked about 11 or 1,200 steaks a month. So that got me into, cooking and all that. And then I got into barbecue, and then I was at a barbecue event in Boone, Iowa, and they had a steak comp, and I'm like, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and try it. And I cooked the first one I ever cooked and got third place on a Weber, won a Weber grill package thing from Weber. And after that, it was over. I'm like, I'm not returning back. I was kind of burned out on barbecue for a while. And man, the steak thing came around. I'm like, this is me.
Let's go.
Can you tell us a little bit about chasing points in that? Because you had to cook a lot of competitions and hit a lot of pavement to be able to win during the points chase. Can you tell us your experience about how that was to do that?
My body will never be the same. I can tell you that right now. Sitting in a truck. So we get home on a on a Sunday or Monday. Thursday roll around, the truck is still loaded. Just kind of refresh a few things or whatever needs put in there. And then, we beat the street and get back out there, leave here there Thursday night, Friday morning, and wouldn't be home till Sunday night or early Monday. And then I had to go to work. So I worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, took Friday off and did it for a whole entire year. I think we drove 56,000 miles, 17 states. And I even jumped on plane and flew to 4 destinations.
Wow. So
yeah. Wow.
What's the plan now that so the rules change now? To explain to the people what the rule is now for SCAs and the overall points chase.
They're still sticking with an overall points deal, but they're going to make it. They're kind of giving away 2 rings, so they're make you like a top 15 comps. So they'll take your best 15 and compile that. So it's kind of make people a better cook. I think I kind of like it because I can do a little bit less and I can still win another points championship. But it's going to take probably 10 wins and 5 second places. So
you're going to go after that big one again, the big 50 competitioner.
Yeah, but it'll take more than 50, I imagine, to do it. It's going to take probably close to 70 now, I would say, to do it. But I do have a plan on doing it. I have a steak rub coming out, and I want to get that off the ground. So
speaking of steak rub, the Barbecue Champs Academy, I'm a big fan. Everyone knows it. I own every single SCA class on there, and they're all great in their own way. Right. And they do give you every single one I've learned something from, some more than others. Your class is different than almost all of them. And you have a unique way that you go about your steak, and specifically your flavor profile and how you accomplish that is just different. So you came from a chef background working at a steak restaurant. Did that influence your profile, and have you been using that profile this whole time, or has it kind of evolved?
It's kind of evolved, but that's my go-to profile, and I do veer away from it a while. Everybody brings me something and says, "Here, try this," or something new comes on the market, and you've got to go try. And then it works, and then you just get too much of something, and then you get sideways, and you're not winning anymore. You're not even placing, so you got to go back to what I did, and that's my go-to. I'll go right back to where I started and start fresh again, and it'll hit, and then back up and rolling again. And I, seem to get sideways. I like to try new and different things. So
kind of like when Rusty decided to sear a steak. You were doing good, and then he seared a steak and didn't do so great. But his team members did fantastic.
You like to bring up dumb stuff.
He has this whole thing that he has going on, but apparently he's dropped it. So
no, it's
wow.
It is what it is. I'm open to new things right now. I'm a clean slate. So my whole last year, it's just we had some success and we'll move on from it. So talking about using a certain profile, when you do change something, is it pretty drastic, or are you just adding and tweaking?
I might take out something and then add something in there, or it's minor tweaks. It might be in the duster, in the thumb grinder, and it could be just small, just a little pepper, a little salt, just anything, something with some MSG in it. There's a lot of good stuff out there, and people just got to find a well balanced flavor. They think pouring that stuff on there is gonna win, and it's not. I always tell people less is more. So you don't need a ton of flavor on there. That they want it to taste like a steak too. So
yeah, some of us can use 7 different, rubs on one steak, and a lot of them. So that's a good point. And so you came up with a marinade that's very, very popular. Tell us about why is that better than the rest? Because I hear so many good things about it. What specifically does yours do that makes it so successful?
It's a tenderizer, and I always marinated with something different, and it didn't have that tenderizing agent in it. And this is fast. It's anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. Right now I'm doing around 20 minutes. Depending on the steak. I mean, if you get like a really highly marbled steak, it'll work faster. So, I mean, 10, 12 minutes is good. Some people do 8 minutes. I mean, it's just personal preference. I mean, I just kind of watch what it does. When the fat cap pulls away from the spinalis, that's when it's ready to go. I mean, as long as it's 1.8 inches to 1.5 inches thick. So.
And you have a cool way of making sure that even if it does separate, that you keep it together. I'll leave you guys to watch that video to find out how, but you have very unique ways of manipulating that steak. And I've heard people like our buddy Jerry who want steak A and B after taking your class. Wow. I'm not saying that he stole everything from you, but I know that he was doing okay. And then they took the Matt Ouverson class, and all of a sudden he just goes out and wins an A and B steak with 40 something teams. Like, it was a lot. Yeah. So yeah, he crushed it. So you kind of have a unique process. So normal. Okay. When I came up in, cause having a culinary background like I do, and you do, that it was very traditional to room temperature steak. That was very important. What do you find? Cause that you're very big on that. What do you find different of a warm steak as opposed to the 65 or lower degree steak that most people are doing?
It doesn't have to stay on the grill as long, and then it helps with your grill marks. Like right now, I think I'm doing. I can do in like really warm temperatures. I can do 45-second turns. So I'm 3 minutes on, and that's it. And then it goes up on the rack, and it should only be up there for like 1 or 2 minutes. It's ready to go. So.
And do you find that it helps with tenderness as well? Maybe.
I think it helps with tenderness, but it helps with doneness.
Okay.
It makes sure, in a sense, it's sous vide before it goes on. So all you're doing is making some lines.
And I would imagine, since it's not coming up from cold very quickly and rising in temperature, that you maybe don't pull it so early. You'll probably wait as a higher temperature to pull that and let it rest less. Is that right?
Yeah, it doesn't overshoot your mark. Like some people have big swings in their steak. I hear all the time, I got like 15 or 20 degrees, swing in my steak, or I got to rise. And I'm like, man, I don't get that. I get 5 degrees max. Sometimes only 3. I mean, if it's cold out, I mean, it will just stop. But I don't get all that people claim to get.
So when you go to, go ahead.
I don't cook. I've never cooked out of a cooler, like if I say a cooler steak, I don't take mine from the cooler to the grill. Cause it's sitting there at, 34, 36 degrees out of the cooler, out of the ice water. And you go put it on there. Well, it's got to get to, 130 something before you pull it off. And, those guys get that big swing and that big rise. And I don't get that,
Does it give you like a sense of pride when you go to a competition now and you see a bunch of dudes in their trucks with their steaks?
Yes, it does. I can see it just down by the scissors and, just the things laying on the table. It makes me feel good. I enjoy helping people, and I set out to do something. I did it, and now I kind of want to give back to the sport, and I love SCA.
SCA is great. Do you ever do any ancillaries, or are you just straight steak?
I do some ancillaries. I do wings, anything, egg. I'll do margaritas, and Bloody Marys. I get into that. I do really good margaritas. So it's enjoyable. I just think sometimes that takes away from my steak. So.
Right. Rusty really likes to do ancillaries. He does all of them plus some. Is that going to be the same plan this year, Rusty?
Dude, I don't know. It's the cook in me that wants to do them.
Well, you need a rebound from wings. That's mandatory.
But you don't you get down there, you're like all pumped, like, oh, dude, I could do that. And then you get down there, like, damn it, why did I sign up for ancillaries? I want to hang out with these people. Look at everyone having fun. Look at everyone in their trucks.
Warming up their steaks.
I want to be with my people. Instead, I'm here cooking this bacon cinnamon roll. Anyway.
Yeah, I tell you what, I went to Australia in March, and I was there to cook steak, and they had a bunch of ancillaries. And I'm telling you what, those guys, killed us in ancillaries. Those guys can cook ancillaries like nobody's business. I foresee, you know, they have an ancillary ticket now, and I foresee when those guys can get over here next year and win some, and have an ancillary ticket to come over, they will beat us up for sure. I mean, those guys can straight up cook over there.
Is it Judy Brown that's doing it right now? She just owns everything. I think it's Judy. Her name's Judy Brown.
And Kyle, say his last name. How do you say Kyle's last name from you're behind barbecue? Say his last name.
Mazazowski.
I can't say it.
Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah, but he's doing really good in ancillaries. He's definitely on a point chase for that, for sure.
Them Vortex wings, man. He gave me one of those Vortex things. He flew into Kansas City, and I hooked him up with a grill, and him and Sterling Smith and a buddy of his, and he gave me one of them Vortex deals, and I like it.
That's great.
I enjoy cooking with it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chris Hope's wings. It's real nice.
Yep.
So you're cooking on a PK?
I was cooking on a PK. I just switched over to an M16 M grill.
Ooh.
Yeah, there it is.
Ooh, just got a Cadillac. You just like ride that down the street like, what's up?
Right, it's weighted like a Cadillac too.
Got your Alpine blaring.
Yeah, I like the grill. I'm just kind of getting used to it. It's so cold here. I haven't had time to get out there and practice. I've probably only cooked on it probably 6 times maybe. But as soon as it warms up this weekend, I'm going to get out there and start cooking. I need to practice for Worlds. So,
right. Are you cooking? Have you made any tweaks to it, or you just pretty much got the hot side with the diffuser plate and then moving it over? You doing just the base? Are you using it how it was designed, or did you make any modifications to your cook to make it work out for you?
No, this is just the biggest thing to overcome was how much charcoal to put in it. I mean, a PK, you can just dump charcoal in it, open all the vents, and the PK just hums along, and it's real easy to use. If you leave the vents open on the M16 or the vents aren't correct off the get-go, it could either get really hot and then you can't get it back down, or it won't even come to temp. So there's kind of a fine line in how to use it. But once it goes, it changes the color, and that's what I'm looking for. So because it doesn't vent out the top like a PK, it vents out the side. And that smoke just rolls in there kind of like a, what do I want to say, a smoker, and it changes the color of the top of the steak, which is amazing.
So you're getting more of that mahogany look to it?
Yes. Yep.
So, let's talk steak for a minute. Let's go to something that maybe you learn now, have done so much now, going back to the very first time you cooked a steak in a competition. What's some stuff that you wish you could tell yourself then?
Don't put all that garbage on it. I mean, find something and stick with it. I mean, and run it for 2 or 3 times. If it doesn't work, then change some stuff around. People go out there and they use one rub, and then they use another rub, and then the next contest they'll just totally change. Well, you could have had a winning steak profile that contest. You just didn't hit the right judges or the right table, and then you left it and you went somewhere else. Well, that could have been the winning profile on the next comp, but you didn't give it time to run its course. So people just, and I understand, I mean, people don't have a lot of money, and they maybe only do 10 a year or 15 a year, and you can't play that much. So it's kind of hard, but when you're on the road every weekend, it's easy to play.
So what is your recommendation? How many comps do you run something before you decide to make that change? Like, say like you're getting whooped and you don't want to make that change, but like you said, you might hit one competition. What's that window, like 4 or 5 comps before you start really digging into what's working and what's not working?
3 would be my suggestion. And I mean, if you used it and you didn't even, if you were like the 48s in your flavor profile, and not even close to a 50, I would say ditch it. But if you were in that 50 range, do some little minor tweaks with it. I mean, they liked something about it, and they're gonna, the next time you might get a 52 out of it. So, or you could get a 53. I mean, this doesn't matter. I mean, different regions, different judges, but once you find, like in my region, I know exactly what they like, and you can just hammer it. So, and there's some days that they don't like it. I mean, yeah. I can't say I can score, 52s, 53s every time in Iowa, but there's a pretty good chance. But there's some days that, I miss everything.
Are you a Buckeyes fan or a Hurricane, whatever the heck they're called, fan?
Hawkeyes?
Hawkeyes, yeah. Hawkeyes.
I'm a Hawkeyes fan. My sister's an Iowa State fan. She goes to Iowa State. But
that must be bad because we have our buddy Chad, our chicken guy on our KCBS team. He's a Hawkeyes fan, and man, they are serious people.
Serious.
Oh, yeah.
They're serious people, like scary kind of serious people. Like, don't talk. I mean, we had a bet, right? We talked crap. My bet was like, if I lose 20 pounds, you guys are going to trim all the meat and clean, like serious, like cool stuff, right? His only thing was we stopped talking crap on the Hawkeyes. That's it. That's how serious.
That was his bet.
He will clean, trim chicken. He'll do all the packing, but as long as we just don't talk crap on the Hawkeyes.
Wow, you just opened them up for a whole bunch of trash talking this season.
I know. So judging, right? Do you think that it's kind of come around? Because I mean, in this, I think it's regional still, but in this region now, I don't think people really know what to look for. So I think it's like shooting, you're not really, the judges are kind of fine tuning their palates into what's happening now. And so you go and you can run one steak and it just absolutely crushes. And then you run it again and it's the worst steak that you put on. And I think that there's an element there of just it being a new SCA being new and those judges kind of coming around to it. Do you find that that's getting better? Do you still feeling that that's even a thing, or is that still the case in some regions?
We're starting to bring on a lot of new judges, which is nice. And there's starting to get a lot of prime judges. I mean, all those guys are starting to judge more and they're starting to get their prime. So, I mean, I like my steak being judged by a prime judge. I mean, he's seasoned, he's been around a little bit, but you get those new guys. And I cooked for a judging class one time over in Omaha, and I'm telling you what, I mean, those guys were all over the board. I mean, not saying that they're bad judges. I mean, at all. They're a new judge. So, I mean, just getting taught that night and, going out the next day, I mean, you can kind of tell. Or uncertified judges, I don't even like going to those things. But so it is what it is.
So is there a way to adjust your cook for that? Say because I know here locally we'll have a judging course the same day as the competition, and those judges will go right into the judging tables. Is there a way to adjust for that, or is it just kind of like a crapshoot and see what happens?
Yeah, go to your local steakhouse and order a steak and see what's on it. That's what they just ate for the last, 3 months of, their favorite steakhouse, whatever they got on it. I mean, stick it to them. That's what they love in their area. That's what you give them.
There you go, Rusty Roadhouse Rub.
Or just take your recurve bow and go pheasant hunting. Same damn thing. You might hit one.
You might get one
if you shoot enough. Yeah, and that's I think a problem right now, especially in our region. I think it's coming around. We're getting some judges that are kind of dialing it in, and I think it's interesting because we, as cooks, we're setting the standards. And do you think that it's going to be kind of humdrum with people just using the same old, marks, and there's not a lot of searing happening and things like that? Do you think it's too late for us now, or is there a way to kind of change that up, or is that just going to be now chicken thighs? It's just like go the route of the chicken thigh, It's got to have scrape skin. It's got to look like a burrito.
No, I don't think so. I think the sear is coming back a little bit. I've seen it happening. I jumped in with another guy here in Iowa, and I helped him do a steered steak one time, and we got like 13th with it. So, I mean, I was just I helped him kind of put some rub on there. He seared it on a beefer. I have one right next to me over here. And it was good, like really good.
How did that beefer work? I've been very interested in hearing that. And in the searing realm, was it like, wow, this is what's up with searing, or give us some pointers on that one, because that one's hard because you don't see a lot of people using it, and you want to know what it's like.
It puts an amazing crust on there. Some crust with, and how it burns that butter, that burnt butter flavor that everybody likes. It's amazing. It just takes a lot to get used to. I mean, if you were actually going to set out and do it and really start going at it and want to do it every weekend, I think it would work. I really do.
And you know what I noticed too, just from being on the SCA community page too, is perfect diamonds aren't hitting every single time. I'm seeing squares coming out. I'm seeing the long diamonds, like judges are starting to break away from that perfect diamond shape as well too. So, which is a plus because they shouldn't be judging on grill marks. We went over that before. So I like to see that. I like to see that change, that people are actually hitting that aren't in that stereotypical SCA perfect diamonds box.
That would be nice.
I'm a diamond guy. I'm also a squares guy, and I kind of jump back and forth. And I really don't want to say this, but I'm going to. But I want to turn in a steak with just one set of lines on it, like a diagonal set. When you take that off that first turn, and you're like, "Dang, man, that looks amazing." I want to leave it just like that and turn it in with one set of lines, and that's it. And just to see what they can't judge me down. They shouldn't. It does have grill marks on there. But it just looks so good coming off that first turn. And then you put it on there and you turn it back over and you're like, man, it kind of just went away. I really want to do that, and I'm going to start trying it.
I agree with you because I've done my first turn too, and you look at it, you're like, dang, this is going to be awesome. And you put your second turn on, and then it's kind of blah. It doesn't look the same.
Even though it's only on there for 45 seconds, I mean, you turn it back over and it's not the same color as what the first one was, So yeah. I don't know. I've been playing with that a little bit, and I want to get it perfected, but I'm not nervous. I almost did it. I had a few beers one night, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do it, and I backed out and didn't do it. So
well, it's safe here on the podcast because you said that you're gonna do it. Nobody's gonna do it unless you win, and then everybody's gonna be doing it. So you're in a gray area right now, so you're safe. So
Matt, you're becoming a big name in the industry, man. You need to start, setting these trends right now. Our future is in your hands. I hate to say it. With great steak skill comes great responsibility.
Yeah,
it's up to you to change the judges' minds. But
yeah, I mean, even I watched doneness change from almost like a rare state. Now to almost a true medium. I mean, I was turning in steaks that were at 132 that were, there was blood running on them and they were hitting perfect, but that was a year and a half ago. Now if you turn in a steak that's 132, you get nailed. So it's kind of cool to watch things evolve in different ways.
Have you ever won with a steak that's gone up to 150?
I can't say I haven't.
Who was that? What's that?
That was last episode. Yeah. Or the episode before.
Oh.
Yes. That was a fluke. Anyone?
Yeah, 150 steak.
Yeah.
It could happen. Let's talk about this. This is something that is interesting to me now. I see all these people saying, this is my presentation side, this is my presentation side. And this is before anything happens. So you're looking at a raw steak. You're deciding there and then, this is my presentation side. Do you ever flip it around to the non-presentation? I go, oh, that's what's up. That's what I'm putting up. Or do you just stick with what you decided you're going to do in the first place?
I never have said that that's my presentation side. I determine my presentation side, whichever looks the best.
So it don't matter to you. You just, do you try to, is there, you're just like, it doesn't matter at all. I'm going to trim my steak and whatever, how's it comes out, that's the way it's coming up.
Correct. Yeah, I've never been that guy.
So I guess here's a little bit more on top of that question is, when are you deciding which side's your presentation side? When it's going on to the upper grate to finish, or when it actually comes off the grill?
When it comes off the grill, I can. A little tip: there's when you put foil down on the rack, and you put the side that you want to put in the box, put that down on the foil and let your, steak come up to temp, on that foil. A lot of people just take it off of that thing and set it right in the turn-in box. If they would actually flip that over, it's the most amazing thing you've ever seen. It can't sit on there too long. It'll take the lines off, but if it's up there for 4 or 5 minutes, it brings out the lines in that and makes it all nice looking. So I normally set the side that I want to go in the box down on the foil with a little butter on there. And then when you flip it back over, you're like, dang, oh, that's amazing. So that's kind of the way I do my thing.
See, I was cooking a steak the other day, and I'm practicing, but I'm just practicing tenderness. I'm not doing anything fancy with it. And those, I cooked a steak up and just let it hang, just like a normal ribeye. And gosh, it was so awesome. Like I was thinking to myself, like, imagine though, because in barbecue, there's this thing like the heavier the box, the better, right? So I think if this steak just goes in as a steak, that would be nice.
Like just pretty much
what I want to see.
Would just trim the spinalis and then leave everything else.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Tail on
everything. Just trim up that little silver skin on the top and just put in a freaking that's a steak. What's that?
Well, obviously Luke, remember when she won, she turned in half a cow. Remember that steak was huge.
Mm-hmm.
It works. I think it used to work. Now, if you had a lot of fat on that tail, I would say no. But if you had a little meat in that tail, it'd be, I've seen some amazing looking steaks with the tail on. I just, I'm paying my money and I'm there to win. And it's not, I don't want to play with a tail. I've won everything without a tail. So, I mean, that doesn't really make or break me to leave the tail on there. It feels like, sometimes I feel like it, that's going to hinder my overall impression.
And how the heck do you not eat that? That's my favorite part. When I cook a steak, the first thing I do is cut that tail off and pop it in my mouth. I have the chef's cuts. That's my chef cut. Is that?
Yeah, just all that big old ball of gristle.
Oh gosh, the fattier the better.
I'll eat the fat pocket right out of the middle of it before I'll eat anything else. Heck, I mean, I love that part.
It sounds gross, but I used to eat people's fats off their plate.
Wow.
Like little fat
This explains a lot.
Whoa, you're saying I'm fat?
No, I'm just saying it explains a lot.
The more fat, the more flavor it has. I mean, fat, salt is attracted to the fat. So when you put something in, if you have a really salty rub and you have a really highly marbled steak, it's going to pull in more of that salt flavor. Mm-hmm. But more marbling means more flavor, and it's not just the flavor, but it pulls in all that, that salt and that pepper and that garlic. It stores it in them fat pockets when you cook it. So when you eat it, it tastes different.
Don't get me wrong, Rusty. I eat the fat off mine too, but I just won't take other people's fats from their plates.
Hey, hashtag fat boy problems. It's true though, but you gotta look at fat as kind of like blood veins. That's how they distribute everything through a meat, and so keep that in mind. So you're starting out in, someone's listening like, oh man, I'm going to jump into this SCA thing. What are some things you must have?
Oh, Thermopin, or, you get a good thermometer. I see a lot of guys out there, not using ThermoWorks, and they'll spend 20, 30, 40 bucks on a thermometer. And then later on down the road, they'll be buying a ThermoWorks. Once they see the in crowd is all using ThermoWorks. So right out of the gate, buy yourself a good thermometer and buy ThermoWorks. ThermoWorks has the best products. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just telling you, everything in my arsenal is ThermoWorks. Mm-hmm. That'd be one of the things that I would spend my money on first before anything. Doneness is key.
Absolutely. And you're using a Thermopin specifically for that, or do you use any other products for ThermoWorks that you do to temp your steak?
Yeah, I use a Thermopin while it's on the grill, and then my little favorite thing is a dot, but it has to have the new needle probe with it. The needle probe and that little dot, after it goes off the rack and just sits on the table, and I'm watching it just come up and sink into place. My new favorite thing. I love it.
And that's actually a very cheap combo. What, maybe $50 for the dot and the probe?
Yeah, I think 40 something for the dot. I mean, you can find them on sale for probably 38, and then $18, I think, for the probe. The only drawback is that silicone. You can burn that silicone up pretty easy. If they made that in a different way, if they made it wireless, I'm telling you what, it'd be a game changer. And I've been trying to get ThermoWorks to make a wireless probe for a steak.
Dude, you are not the only one. But
they are coming on the show to release what they're saying. They're going to announce it here on the podcast. Very large and very important. Obviously, it's barbecue because they're coming on here to announce it in April 15th. So that might be it. But hopefully,
I really doubt it's going to be wireless because I've talked to them a few times and they said the accuracy on wireless stuff is not that great. It's good.
Yeah.
but it's not ThermoWorks quality great.
But he's right. Like taking that needle pin, we use it
Yeah.
for our chicken and KCBS. And it's important because it handles steam really well.
Right. Are you guys talking about the sous vide one?
You clamp. No, it has a silicone on it. Yeah, and it's a very thin needle.
Yeah, it's like a needle. It, the other ones are probably about 1/8 of an inch around. This is like an actual needle.
Right, because the one that I use is the sous vide one, and it's really thin, but it can take up to 500 degrees before anything.
The cord?
Yeah, I think
that's it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think it is.
But it's not true. I clamp it down and it burns. I use a PK. I have to thread that thing through the top, my air hole, and then poke it in, and then when I open up, it flies out. So
I used to do that too, and you run the risk of forgetting about it, opening the door, and then your steak falls on the ground. So I've never done that, but I mean, it's been close to where it yanks it around, and I'm like, I'm done doing that.
Right.
But I like it a lot.
This year, I'm going to go to the 2-inch probes for my steaks.
Should.
Yeah.
I'm going to start feeling them. I've rewatched the Star Wars trilogy, and I'm inspired to just use my senses.
Oh my god,
for steak. This is why I stopped winning.
Yeah, because he starts doing all this random. Because if I can bend it to this radius, it's perfect.
You'll see. What is he doing? He's feeling his steak. He knows when it's done. You'll see. I'll have my own class on Barbecue Champs Academy. So you have a Thermopin. I always say to take a class, and I'm saying this not because you're in front of our face, but I mean this wholeheartedly. I suggest your class all the time. It's a very, very good class. It covers a lot of basics. You get into the nitty gritty of stuff. I mean, if anyone, I love John's. I love all of them. I love Terry's. You can't really go wrong, but yours specifically, I think if you want to win right now, you're taking your class on the Barbecue Champs Academy. And I highly, highly, highly recommend you do it now. But, and you do things that are just a little bit different. And I could tell, you probably work somewhere in a restaurant because you have very restaurant-y, techniques. But, what is something that you do that maybe is a little different from that class, if you don't mind me asking at this point?
The heating of the steak. I mean, that's a lot of things. I won't tell you the temperature, what it takes, what it goes to. But people are very, very surprised when they hear that. And,
so it's different than what it is in the class? Because that's awesome.
No, it's not. No. I was just telling people that that's, because most people wouldn't think that it goes that high.
Yeah.
So, because you've taken the class. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I think that specifically that technique is really good because you start to, you start seeing steak in a different way, and it kind of changes your perspective on all the things, kind of like we talked about. But I'd highly recommend that class. I just wanted to plug that because it is truly, truly, truly something that I think can help every single cook right now. And I think I saw it in Dixon, California, not too long ago. The dude used your class. I watched him cook. I saw the class, and I was there, and I saw him, and he whooped everyone's butt, and it wasn't even close. And that's happening a lot.
Was it?
I don't remember. It was Dixon, California. I don't know him. I didn't know him then. We were just, me and Jerry were down there, and Jerry's spying on everyone. That's what he does.
Brian Sweet.
Sounds right.
Brian Sweet.
Sounds right.
Yep.
And his buddy took second, or brother, something like that.
Yeah.
And
I flew out to Arizona here recently. I think it was maybe a couple months ago, and was able to meet a bunch of guys out there, and it was fun. I was Sterling Smith's little deal, and those guys, Jerry Aguilar and Brian Sweet and Steve Conway. Steve Conway won one.
Yep.
I was very, very proud, and I got second that right behind him. So it was kind of cool to see somebody that took the class and just beat me straight up. So
Steve Conway, by the way, I want to talk on that. Oh, that was the most proudest moment I've ever had in my barbecue experience. I was so happy for Steve. I nearly pooped my pants. Yeah. And Steve, I know you're listening. So just know, man, I was like super happy about that. I said that to you, but I mean it.
Let's talk about that class just on the financial side. How much is that class? How does the website work? Let's just break that down just really quick for our first time listeners to the show.
Just go to bbqchampsacademy.com and then scroll down to the Grill Masters. There's some barbecue guys in there. They have some really good classes too. But just scroll down to the Grill Masters, and I'm down in there, probably down towards the bottom of the page there. And I think Mike just I think it's 179.
Mhm.
I think is what it is.
It's 179, and it's down from 199. So hustle up, get those get those steak classes in. And you go through steak selection. You go through from beginning to the very, very end. So highly recommend it. Super cool class. But
and then you get the forum, the private Facebook forum to ask questions. So you can go onto the forum, which is, even though you might not even ask any questions, there's a lot of information on there that people do ask. And you can go through there and you can read everything on the forum. And there's people that post daily on there. So you can sit there and ask me questions, or you can private message me, if you've taken the class and if you don't want to talk inside that forum. So I help people outside of it too. So.
Yep. And then you also get the free classes as well. There's a few free classes on there as well.
There's a wing ancillary class.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah. Cool. Oh, yours.
Yeah.
Is that free?
Yeah.
Well, when you buy the package, you get an addition on top of it. Yeah.
Oh, is that how it is now? You have to buy it separate?
Yeah, there's now there's no more. You can't buy just the ribeye class anymore. Now we've made it so you can have access to the Facebook page, because we've had a lot of people, come back and go, well, I want access to the Facebook page. Well, and then they pay the extra money. Well, it's more money. So now we've just made it so it's all the same price. You can't buy, just the ribeye class. You have to buy the all access. So now everybody has access to the all access.
Oh,
so
yep. There you go. So you have a lot more videos to watch, Rusty.
I just bought a class yesterday. I didn't even see that. I didn't notice that. Oh well, cool. I got all the classes then. What's up?
If you're not on the private Facebook forum, it'd just be like, so if you just bought mine, you'd be just on my forum. So if you bought John's or Shauna's, you would have access to everybody's forum. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, and you're really responsive on that too. So if anyone has any, if you have any questions, just hop on, ask anything in the class.
Yeah, I get with you, with anybody within, if I'm around my phone, and I try to check it, at least halfway through the day. Sometimes it takes me a day. I got other things going on. So,
well, we heard it here.
Get to you.
Thursday through Sunday is going to be a weird window, folks. He's on the road. So if you message between Thursday and said, I got your back on this one, it might be a delay. Don't expect an immediate response.
I get to everybody within a day, sometimes, it might be within 20 minutes. Just depends, what I'm doing or if I'm at work or if I have some downtime. So,
and sometimes in the class you say things that, help in ways you don't even realize. And I feel comfortable saying this enough, but you let your beeper go on your ThermoWorks until you're done. And I used to do that and I felt bad, but now I don't feel bad anymore. I just let my beeper beep. And if anyone tells me to shut up, I don't. So what? Screw you.
Yeah. The guys that I cook with are like, shut it off. I'm like, you know what? If I shut it off, then I will forget to restart it. So it beeps until I'm ready. You guys only got to listen to it for a couple minutes and then it's over with.
I know.
So that's what I do.
Relax.
Have
people.
a beer.
You know that beeper sound, like it bugs everybody, but at my work, we have stuff that goes into ovens and we start timers on that exact sound goes off all day long. So I'm like numb to it now. So it doesn't bother me, Russ. You can let that sucker beep for 3 hours. I'll probably forget about it.
I can't sit next to you. You listen to the stupid music. The worst.
We're bringing that up again. Do you like hip hop?
Say no.
Matt, do you like hip hop?
No. I like country.
Oh, okay. there's a three-way going. I shouldn't say that. There's different music genres going on in this conversation.
If you ever go to a competition, you see Anthony, he's always there, but he's like 5 stalls down. There's no one in between them. That's why.
They move me because they move great music.
I do listen to country, but if you ever around me cooking, I do listen to some country rap. I love Colt Ford and kind of like that kind of music. So that kind of gets me pumped up. So I do listen to some of that when I'm cooking.
What's that called? Hick hop? Hick hop? I think it's the
I
actual genre
Luke
of it.
Bryant. So like Luke Bryant kind of stuff. And I didn't like it either until I was working at Roadhouse, Texas Roadhouse, and they play that stuff. I'm like, God, it's just, you're around it. Like, this song is actually pretty good. Okay.
It's like country rap is what it is.
Yeah, I like it.
Right.
It works. It does. It's actually kind of cool. So when you're doing competitions now and it's hot, it's cold, what kind of adjustments are you making to, right now it's cold everywhere, right? And all these competitions are kind of coming out, and in Texas, they're getting snow. Is there a lot that you do to compensate for weather?
In the heat, no. I use my process, just like it is shown in the class in the heat. When it switches over to cold, I do make like a foil pouch for my steak. I wrap it in a towel, and I stick my steak in there, and I don't seal it up. I just kind of loosely, fold it up and leave my probe in there. And then when it gets almost to my target temp, I'll just pull it right out, and it should just stop, especially in these extreme temps.
And what about your cooker? Is there any kind of adjustments you're making to, because you used a PK before, what would you do? Because that's very popular cooker right now. What's some adjustments you would make? Just
a little bit more charcoal, depending on if it's really windy. I mean, you're going to need to add some charcoal anyway. So,
and if you have an M16, you don't need to worry about that because that thing's a tank. And that's why you buy those things. So you don't ever have to ask that question again.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I can't get with
they are heavy.
Those little, flaily thingies. I'm like, I live in the mountains, like.
When are you going to make the change then, Rusty?
It's like 19 degrees.
When are you going to make the switch?
I'm not.
All right. So you're just going to the PK.
Yeah. I'm going to be the PK master. Okay. I'll be able to cook on the Himalayas, and then I'll be able to cook like 800 feet underwater.
Like a volcano?
Yeah. I'll be like the guy on the PK. I'll be like, dude, that guy, he's cooked literally in everything. He's cooked in a hurricane, in a tsunami.
Jeez.
What? So do you have a tent, or do you do a trailer?
I just normally use a tent. I just recently bought a big camper to take my family with me, because I get you're not leaving me home with the kids this weekend. So I bought a camper so they can tag along a little bit, so they can go to all the Iowa comps and just surrounding states, and I can take the kids and her with me, and I'll set up right there underneath the canopy there. But when I'm on the road, just the back of the truck, it was me and Mark Huntley all the time, Jeff Jacobson, Dr. Johnson. We put 3 or 4 setups in there and piled in there like, Tetris, and off down we go.
Are you seeing your kids take any interest in the SEA competitions?
They're only 4 and 2, so not yet.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, in Russia back in the day, they were already cooking. So if you want to let the Russians win, that's fine, Matt. That's on you.
They will. They're going to like cooking. So.
Yeah, say that's what I hope too. But I have all 3 girls, so we'll see. As long as they're Utah Jazz fans, we'll work around it. Doesn't matter. But it certainly would be super nice. But yeah, so you do the trailer bit. It's like one of my, it's like when the SEA competition comes around, it's like turning my Xbox on. You hear that deedly-deed. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" It's the same thing. when she gets that email like competition I just paid for, she goes, "What's this?" I give my wife a lot of crap. She's the coolest wife ever. She doesn't give 2 craps. She's like, "Where you going this weekend?" I'm like, "California." "All right, bye."
She doesn't want to deal with your bullshit.
Maybe that's it. Maybe she doesn't love me.
No, she loves you, obviously, but she's like, Rusty just needs to leave. He's driving me crazy.
That's true. I have that ability.
Trust me, I can handle you for a week, once a week for an hour, and it's way too much.
I do have a really nice barbecue trailer. I bought a porch trailer, and I got a Jambo sitting on the back of it, and stainless everything. I built the whole inside myself. Got a big refrigerator in there, and I love that thing. And I take it on some state comps, close ones, every once in a while, and but I do miss having the air conditioner and the heater and all that jazz.
My gosh, this is a life changer we got for the KCBS. We were tenting it forever, and then we finally got a trailer, and I gotta say that I don't know how I'm gonna get back on this SEA with the tent anymore. I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
I know he has his own air conditioning tube around to the tent, everything.
I do. No, it's a Mister system.
Mister system, yeah.
Yeah,
and he and he gets it to where it blows on other people's PKs to cool them down. So it's a dual purpose.
Thanks for winning my class. My whole class is how to sabotage. It's really not how to cook. It's like how to screw everyone else up so you do better no matter what happens.
He tells you in every class, he goes, if you see Jerry Aguilar at your barbecue competition, make sure you talk to him right at the time.
I do. I send people over to
yeah.
him. I'm like, I don't know, but see that guy goes ask him some questions. It's really good.
Yeah.
So, you know, in closing, kind of, what are some tips you can impart to some people that, you know, well, not in closing, we're going to talk about the rubs. I want to talk about that for just a second. You have one upcoming, but what are some tips you can impart to some people right now that can improve their game, even if they are maybe someone like myself who are kind of going through a transitional period and want to kind of step their game up?
Just nailing that doneness, man. I mean, I always say doneness goes hand in hand. I mean, if even if your steak don't look the best, I mean, that doneness, if you nail your doneness, you're going to get more than likely a better taste score. It's going to have better texture score to it. Just all around, the doneness hinges on everything.
And how often do you practice, do you think, when you first start out and you're trying to get that doneness done? What is your practice schedule? Probably not much now because you practice on the road, I bet. But when you were kind of coming up, what did that practice schedule look like to, you know, get the doneness done? Did you do the whole thing? You're doing the whole trimming and all that stuff, or just sometimes you just throw a steak on and just kind of cook it?
Yeah, like, I mean, if I was practicing for doneness, I mean, I might as well practice for the competition. So, I mean, I would go outside in my driveway, set my tent up, set my table up, set my grill up, just like I would at a comp, invite a few friends over, have some beers, and I would cook just like I'm going to at a comp and let them tear the steaks up. And, you know, hey, do you like the taste of it? You know, or do you not like the taste of it? You know, I just tried, you know, 5 different steaks in an evening. And, you know, the next day we'd do it all over again. And I'd find more flavor profiles. And, you know, but I got a doneness off that every steak. I didn't care whether they ate it or not, but I got what I was looking for. So.
And when you did that, is that how you kind of developed your profile? Was the basing your opinions on your friends, or is it just kind of your thoughts, or kind of an overall? Because I know a lot of times your friends are there for free steak and they're like, heck yeah, it's great. And then you go compete with it. And you're like, why did I get last place? Steve and John said it was great.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of friends that, you know, that I tell them, you know, be honest, man. If you don't like it, tell me. I mean, you're not going to hurt my feelings. My wife is a really good one for taste, you know, flavor profile. You know, if she likes it, you know, she was like, if it's too spicy to her, I got it just right. But she tells me, you know, hey, it's got too much salt, or, you know, I eat so much stuff all the time. I'm a big flavor guy. So when she tells me it's good, it's good.
Are you sick of steak yet? You done eating it?
I'd rather eat like a good filet mignon. But yeah, I don't, I like at a comp, I take one bite and either give it away or it goes in the garbage. I mean, I don't eat it. Really don't.
Yeah, so. It's hard because when you cook your own steak and then everyone's bringing it around, try this. And you're like, did I just eat 50 steaks in like small pieces?
Right.
So you said that you're coming out with a new rub, and you currently have a marinade, which is fantastic. Tell us a little bit about what to look forward to for this new rub coming out.
It's a buttery, beefy rub is what it is. We just have a few more tweaks. We added a little bit more salt to it, a little more pepper, and it's really fine right now. We're gonna make it a little more coarse. Just hoping that don't change the flavor, but it should be out in the next couple months.
So would this be something, because a lot of times when you get someone's rub, they're like, put it through a spice grinder and stuff like that. Are you trying to make it so we don't have to do that? Or are you trying to make it for the everyday man, or is this a competition only, or should someone kind of grind that out?
It'll be for the every day. I can't really leave it fine like this. I think if I leave it fine in the heat and the humidity, it'll be a brick. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to coarse it up a little bit. I just hope it stays the same flavor profile I'm looking for.
So do you have any idea? I know you're kind of still working on it, but is there a timeline in which maybe we can look forward to this coming out in the next month or so, or is you looking further than that?
I hope to have about 10 pounds going into Worlds to take with me to kind of hand out to some people and, let people, give it a try. So it's going to be used, I think, at Mark Lambert's by a friend of mine, Nakia White. He's going to use it at Mark Lambert's on one of his steaks on a double this Saturday. So
cool.
We'll get a little bit of an insight. I was going to cook this last weekend in Iowa, Unfortunately, I had to go to work due to the snowstorm. So otherwise, I was going to run it myself.
Awesome.
So, is it loaded with MSG?
There is I don't think there is any MSG in it.
What?
So,
oh man.
We're going to judge you.
You're going to judge him.
Yeah, I'll judge him.
This guy puts MSG in his Cheerios. He literally spoons it in. Milk, Cheerios, MSG, like at least a tablespoon.
I do have a Cajun Rub. I'm currently out right now. I'm trying to get it back in stock, and then I have a Cajun garlic butter rub that is phenomenal on like shrimp and popcorn and French fries, whatever you want to put it on. I'm like I said, I'm currently out of both of those products, but they're coming back. So
awesome. Well, Matt, where can people find you if they want to search for you?
Facebook on the Wicked Pig, or Instagram. I've been trying to stay off social media lately for all the politics, but I do jump on there, and I'm going to start doing more social media stuff just because I need to. But otherwise, look me up on barbecuechampsacademy.com and go down and take a class. So I'd like to get out what we were talking about earlier for that Mike Steele's deal for Barbecue Champs about the new TV show. The new TV show is coming out. It's a plug for the trailer, and it's amazing. So,
yeah, you guys got to look out for this. The trailer has come out. Check it out. You guys are gonna go crazy over this. This is super, super cool. So the game has kind of changed a little bit, and it's gonna be super fun to check this out. So I think we talked about this. Yeah. But
if you like the Barbecue Pitmasters, this is going to take Barbecue Pitmasters to the next level, and it's called Clash of the Titans. So the trailer's out now, and then probably Sunday there will be you'll be able to preview the show, what it's gonna look like for the first episode. I will be on the first episode, me and Mr. Terry Rowan, and then after that it will air on Tuesday night at 7:00. Not tomorrow night, but next Tuesday. I think that's the 22nd. I think it is. But it'll air for the first one, and then the following Sunday or so, we'll release another trailer, and then the following Tuesday we'll have another show, and then same way following Sunday we'll have another trailer, and then the final show will be the following Tuesday.
So great. Check it out, guys. This is exciting. Actually, I'm really, really pumped about it. So I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about this show coming up, and especially, so when you listen to this, all this will be out, or at least the trailer will be. So check it out. Or
if you know anybody on Netflix or HBO or anybody that is in TV, give us a shout. Look at that and help us out. I mean, we do have a company, a TV company looking at it. They say they want it. They wanted it for free, but they're not getting it for free. So,
right? You didn't spend all that money and investment to give it away.
Yeah,
I will write.
Somebody will pick this up, and it's going to be amazing to redo it all.
I will. I will write a strongly worded letter for you.
There you go. They'll be like, "What? Rusty wrote us a letter. We better do it."
What? Yeah. do you know who I am? No. Makes sense. That makes sense. All right, Matt. We do appreciate your time and all you do for the community of SCA and furthering it at all. You're a big part of that, and we appreciate your knowledge and the class and you taking the time to impart that to the people, and I'm sure they appreciate it too. So we will talk to you soon. Hopefully we'll see each other on the circuit this year, because I'm going to really try and hit it hard. So
thank you. What part of the country you cook out of? Because I'm thinking about going out that way. So you're in California?
No, we're in
Utah. So
Utah.
Yep, so Colorado and West.
So we'll do a lot. I'll do mostly all the Arizona, almost all the California comps, and then we have a bunch here in Utah too. So
we're
doing all those.
Right. Yeah, I kind of want to fly out to Utah. I know my buddy Mark Huntley. He's got a friend out there, and he flew in there and did a Utah comp. He kind of got hammered, but
he did.
I want to go out there with him and just enjoy the scenery and see what it's all about.
Well, let us know. We'll get you cookers and tents and anything you need, man.
But you really should think about not cooking it. Just
forget
hang
that.
Out.
Come cook.
What?
Yes. I want to compete against the best.
I got enough problems.
You always want to go against the best.
That's true. All right, man. We'll talk to you.
When you cook against the best, you be the best.
That's exactly. All right, man. Well, we'll talk to you soon, man. We'll take it easy, and thanks again.
Bye bye.
All right. Thank you.